this thing on? All right.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in again to I Brought You Into This World. I'm Amanda Hurley, and I am here with my new friends, Becky Abbott and Charae D'Ambra.
Got it.
All right. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
Of course.
Yeah,
So,
it's great to be here.
yeah, thank you for coming. First off, just want to hear a little bit about you both and how you ended up in each other's lives.
Can I start?
You please.
Yeah. So I started the Children's Piazza here in Beverly in 2014. I was a fairly new mom, and I was a nurse practitioner by trade. I had absolutely no business experience, maybe no business starting a business.
Starting a business.
But I saw a need in the community that I wanted to fill, maybe even for myself, as a lot of place-based owners do probably. And I was 4 years into the business. Yeah, just about. And at that point, our space in Beverly was kind of small, and so we decided, well, I sort of convinced my husband it would be a great idea to get a bigger space in West Peabody, and so we were in the midst of that build-out, and I got in way over my head, and the contractors I was working with were very slow. They were not getting the concept that until I opened, I couldn't actually make any money to pay them, and that became really frustrating, and so it just occurred to me that if a woman were doing this job, the construction, they would understand.
Yes.
And they would maybe have more respect for me as a woman. Like sometimes I felt like my husband needed to be the one to talk to them, even though I was the business owner. And so we were at a birthday party at the Beverly Piazza with a friend who I met because she had visited the Piazza. I didn't know her prior to her bringing her toddler in. We became friends. I was at her daughter Eloise's third birthday party, and I was just in the midst of this build out, and I was just so frustrated and low and a little desperate, and I said, Sarah, do you know like any female contractors? I don't know what possessed me to ask her even that night, and she said, oh, I do actually, Becky, and she's here.
Who knew?
And she introduced me to Becky Abbott, and I chased her down and was like, can you do some work for
I didn't want to.
And then Becky can tell her part of the story.
I love that.
Yeah, I was a little reluctant, to be honest, just in a transition point in life. Like I wasn't really sure what I was doing at the time. And I was actually kind of getting out of construction. And, but I was like, yeah, I'm doing more small projects. I'll build you some shelves. I'll do a couple, like stuff like that. Perfect. So I was like, let me come over, see the place. And then, yeah, Charae is real persistent. It's actually, it actually what makes us good partners working together, because I'm not.
You're not.
I'm not so much a go-getter, so it's helpful to have go-getters in my
just
life.
sort of
You are
reel
laid
her
back.
in.
Yeah.
I saw her talent.
I'm not a huge risk taker either.
Not a huge risk taker.
Not a huge risk taker. So,
I hear that.
but I went over, saw the place. I was like, this is really interesting. And my friend who introduced us had been like, Jones Piazza saved my life. Like I had postpartum depression.
Wow.
And so I'd always had this affinity towards it, even though I don't have kids myself. And she was doing this build out, which was like, I don't know what percentage done at that point.
We were wrapping it up, but we
you were
needed
open.
things. Yeah, we needed things like shoe racks, and then I wanted to build a swing set, and I wanted to put a stage in, and like you were amenable to being hired to do that.
Right. So I just built some projects, and
And I just started really.
I love
that's
that.
kind
Like
of
a
there.
fishing rod.
Here's the spiritual side of it. I had said to my husband when I was trying to figure things out, I was kind of like, I think I'm ready for something big, but I have no idea what that is. Like I have no idea what it is, but I'm ready to step into something big. It's
Oh, wow.
been I had like a lot of depression stuff over the years and walked away from a bunch of jobs, and so, but I felt like I was ready. And he's like, all right, well, and I put out a few ideas, and he's like, I don't think those are it, which was a little disheartening. But then Charae,
Like, why aren't you agreeing
Husbands.
with me? Yeah.
well, and I don't fault him at all for it, because Charae came along. I started doing these projects. I started being like, this place is cool. I like it. I like what it's doing for the community. Charae asked me to join on as business partner. And I brought it to him, and he's like, well, what can I say? Like, this is obviously there's something big. So it's kind of a nice thing to be in sort of partnership with your partner about that big move as well. And so from there, we just started working together.
And to make it spiritual on my end, I had gotten to a complete place of surrender. I think when Becky was there working on some jobs, like somebody from National Grid came in with a pink slip, like, you haven't paid your gas bill. And I was like, this is a mess. Like,
Wow.
I need someone to help me because this ship is sinking. Like, I have no business background. I have ADHD. I'm a visionary, but I'm not good at executing details. And Becky comes in with this undergrad degree in finance. She knows graphic design. She's really good at technical things. And she can build things. And when I have ideas about what we could put in the space, Becky can do a SketchUp, and she can engineer something, and then she can go into her workshop and actually create it. And that became the magic that was this equal partnership of being co-owners.
I love that.
Is that a long enough answer to your question?
No, I want more.
It was pretty long.
No, it was great. No, I love that. I always feel that, we focus too much on our quote weaknesses, but there are so many people in the world. Like, if you would just focus on your strengths and what you're good at and like run with it,
That's cool.
you find the yin to your yang. You
Yeah.
find the
Yeah.
person who's good at the details. Like, I'm like you. I can see that big vision, but I get lost in the details. Like, I don't know. I couldn't even pick out colors for my wedding because I was like, I don't know. Those all look like purple. Like, I don't care.
Right.
So I love that you found each other and balance each other out.
It's neat because I feel like I have that in my husband too, but in a completely opposite way. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So it's
same.
kind of neat that you can partner with people in different ways that fill that sort of you fill those spots up in different ways. And for us, it works in business. For us, it works in the marriage. It's
my
it's
gosh.
just really cool.
Absolutely.
So, 'cause, I would never take these. I would never take any of these steps by
Yeah.
myself. You know what I mean?
So we often joke.
Scary as hell though.
Yeah.
We joke about it. We've come up with little labels like, come on, I'm the gas, I'm the accelerator, and you're the brakes.
Yeah.
And we can't have one without the other. So it's really important for Becky to say, no, we're not buying that.
Yeah.
And it's also really important for me to say, come on, if we do this, if we fence in this patch of grass outside of our space, we can have an outdoor space.
Yeah.
Game
And I say
changer.
no many times.
Yeah.
I say no a lot of times. And I say, we can't afford the fence unless we build it ourselves. And she goes, well, then let's build it ourselves.
And there's this great picture of us with how many 2x4s
Oh my
in the
gosh.
car.
Yeah.
It
So
was raining that day. So.
we have
Yeah.
this agreement that works with us. And I don't know where the love it for 5 minutes.
Oh, love it for
Where
5
did
minutes.
you
That
hear
was
it?
probably a marriage tip.
Because I would
Was
just
it?
shut down so many things, right?
I
at
think
the
it's
start.
Stay at Home Jackie, actually, from Instagram. She says, let's play Love This Idea for 5
So
minutes.
she'll ask me
Yeah.
now if she knows it's a big ask. Love it for 5 minutes, and I will agree. And I will not say anything negative about her idea.
Just
for
let her
listen to
love
my
it.
5 minutes. Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll just process it through. And if I really hate the idea, at the end of 5 minutes, I'll go, no.
And then well, you gave it a chance.
Yes. And I think a
Yes.
lot of ideas have actually come from that because I've allowed myself to process it through.
And I give her credit. I mean, she's definitely the brains and I'm the balls.
That's also your favorite quote.
And now we're not going to be rated clean for this podcast.
No, there was no.
That was
yeah,
my goal.
There are no ratings.
Your goal. I would have sworn much earlier.
No holds barred. Yeah, I love that. Well, did you come around to the outdoor space pretty quickly? Because to me, I'm like,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
You
Well,
have
here's
to.
the thing. I always am looking at the numbers first. That's what I'm always
Yes.
looking at. And she's looking at the experience first.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, okay, how can we find a balance of
Yeah.
making the numbers work and making, because I'm literally after we put that place up, I'm doing the math, how many people have used it today? How many people have
How much
used
did it cost to make that fence?
But then, over the years, you're just you can't imagine it without it. So,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
and I think it's a cool, you've typically you have outdoor playgrounds and you have indoor playgrounds, and you don't have one that has both. And so I know it's a small space, but I think it adds a lot. And so
It's a really nice playground. You don't need much for little kids.
actually
and there's
true.
like a lot of different things for them to do in there. For backstory, I like took my kids there. Was it last week? I think.
Yeah.
For listeners, and it's huge. Honestly, like I love going to museums and different play spaces, but we won't go if it's nice out.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
they
Right.
want to be outdoors.
Sure.
And to have both and have a place for them to go potty. That's not
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't
the
think about
ground.
that. That's true.
Yeah, or outhouse.
Or an outhouse, right? That's valid. Oh my God. Yeah.
It's crazy. And the bathrooms, like at playgrounds now, are not open until what is it, May? Or
They're so seasonal. That makes it tricky.
it's not right.
Same thing at the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not thinking about parents. Although we had like a squatty potty in our trunk for years.
Just stop.
There you go.
Stop giving options for people to not come to us.
But anyway, I could go on and on about the outdoor space because I actually
that's good to hear.
When I was pregnant, I was like fantasizing about a place like exactly that. I was like, should exist. And then I came to Beverly, and I was like, there's a place in Beverly, there's this place in
there's a lot
Peabody.
of places, yeah.
And my
Yeah.
only regret is I didn't make it to the Children's Piazza sooner because I have twins and I get really stressed about driving both of them alone.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And my husband usually you can't go to things.
Sure.
And
Well, you're outnumbered wherever you go.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
And they throw up in
Inevitably.
like 90% of the time when we go on longer car rides. More than 10 minutes, I'm talking.
Yeah, I would never go anywhere.
Sorry, girls, but
That's
You're
a
fine.
curse,
I
yeah.
grew my brother's twins, and there was like a new
Oh, yeah.
story every week that comes out from memories with them. So you have a lifetime of.
I bet.
We're very,
Shenanigans.
very sympathetic to parents of multiples, and we have always had this 2-for-1 or 3-for-1 discount.
Thank you. Yes.
Because
Nice plug there.
my dad
That's
is a
good.
twin, Becky's brothers are twins. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard out there for us, and we didn't ask for it. It just happened. I
Right.
love them so much, but like
Right.
that wasn't in a
And
plan
it's
that I had.
expensive to buy two things of everything at once.
True.
Right.
So,
True.
All right.
Yeah.
More about.
We're here
I'm going
for
to do a
ya.
whole episode on outdoor playgrounds later. But yeah, I love this story. I'm curious. I know this is something that you'd wanted to do, but both of you, your life trajectory is there anything that happened where you felt like kind of brought you to this moment?
you know, I became a mom at 39 and a half, and I had spent, over a decade in pediatrics, and I thought that I knew a lot about early childhood development. I knew very little, to the point that my daughter was 2.5. We were going to adopt our second child, and the adoption worker looked at our daughter and said, "Have you thought about early intervention for her?"
Oh.
And then we got early intervention, and I learned all of these things that I didn't know from being in primary care pediatrics. And so development became more important to me, I think, along the way, and that's always been a part of why I thought I opened the Children's Piazza, was to give kids a place where they could develop skills.
Yeah.
And I knew enough from my training that play is a really important part of learning for kids. And so we were very intentional about gross motor, fine motor, social, speech, all these opportunities. Being screen-free was always really important to us. And I think in 2014 was sort of the advent of this generation of just never knowing life without technology. And I'm seeing how that has really impacted development in my practice over the years. I'm going on a tangent here.
No, I'm loving it.
That
Yeah.
was part of it, was wanting a place, because you know what? I had a daughter who was really active and tough to take in public spaces. And I had been single for so long and spent so much time in coffee shops and bookstores. Like, that was my jam,
Yeah.
and I couldn't bring her to those places.
Yeah.
And, like Starbucks has this like ceramic floor. She could have cracked her head open.
I know.
So
It's true.
I was like, how do we combine this and make it sort of aesthetically pleasing? Because I want to feel not gross when
Yeah.
I take her somewhere. Because the kids' play places did not make me feel dignified
Not
as a parent.
clean necessarily. Yes.
Yeah, so that became a really big focus for me too. And I think maternal mental health is so important. And so from the very beginning, I said that, and I would tell our employees, I had a lot of college age people running the business while I was sort of raising my daughter. And I would say our secret mission is reducing stress in parents.
Absolutely.
So that we can lower their risk of being not ideal with their kids. Because anytime a parent is stressed, their kids are going to feel that. They're much higher likelihood of being abused or neglected. This impacts development. It's such a cyclical thing. So what can we do to impact parent, caregiver mental health so that we can further, support early childhood development? And I think when Becky came on board, that mission was really important.
Yeah, the mental health thing's just a huge aspect for me, because that's what such a big part of my life had been, figuring that out for myself.
Yeah.
And then you also just sort of begin to realize that starts as early as the kid comes out of the womb. So it was a really cool concept to me to be able to sort of affect that in this kind of non-obvious way. So that was cool. And I also hadn't figured out what I was supposed to be doing. Like, I always be interested in the business side of things and the creative side of things, and hadn't found a way to really put them together. And then boom, it happens. And
in the space, like if you look at the Jeep, Becky built that.
Oh, I love that. My girls are in there. I've got a
the glow in the
picture.
dark aquarium. She made all those glow in the dark fish.
Oh,
but anyway, that's
She's an artist too.
It's a beautiful space.
Really, thank you. Wouldn't have built it if you hadn't told me to. So, I think that's the coolest part of it is like, there's no judgment. And I don't have kids myself, so this is like a very big way for me to impact children. And I have the bandwidth for it because I don't have kids myself.
Yes,
I do actually think that's a big.
Yeah, I used to be a nanny, so like I get that, like being able to contribute that energy.
I go home at night to my dogs,
Yes.
not my kids.
Yeah.
So I can go home and I can still think about the place and how I want to make it better and what I want it to be without it feeling like a drain.
I think that has also given you the bandwidth to be a boss, to be a leader.
Yes.
We have adolescents working for us.
Nice.
And young adults and people who this is their first job.
Getting them out of the house.
That's true.
And my personality is like, oh my gosh, let's just fire them. And Becky is like,
She's not joking.
you can't do that.
You mean because they're teenagers?
Fire people.
Well, that's it, because especially, like, we're a nonprofit now, but when we're, as an LLC and nonprofit, you're just running a business anyway. It's the same. You still got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But, like, everything feels like a threat at times
Yeah.
when you're at risk of not making payroll, you're at risk of not making the
Right.
electrical bill.
Absolutely.
So if,
And when you start a business, you literally put your mortgage as collateral, like
Right.
the equity in your home.
right. So if a 15-year-old is negligent and breaks something, it feels personal.
Yeah,
Don't get the magnitude here.
So many times I want to fire. So I was like, let's slow down.
But
That's our personality too, like balancing each other out.
Yeah, it is true. And actually, the staff that have been with us the longest, they understand the dynamic too.
Yeah.
And I think it can appreciate it. And they've also seen the work we put in on ourselves. And I hope, like, I didn't know that the staff would kind of become a part of our mission, and that's just happened,
of course, yeah.
It's really cool. I mean, honestly, to me, like, a teenager is no different than a 4-year-old. Like, they are just trying to figure out their way in the world.
Their next phase
You
in
know what I
life,
mean?
yeah.
And they look like adults, but they're still kids.
They have
and,
no idea. Yeah, they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, and
at
so
that
I
age.
have a big heart for that. And
We also joke too that like we are children in adult bodies. So like
sometimes.
oftentimes my inner child has come out in arguments and
well, sure.
Yeah.
Our wounded selves
So,
live down there.
yeah, they show up at work.
I feel that way too.
Yeah.
That's why I love toddlers so much. My almost 3-year-olds, and like, we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
And
like,
you're
I feel
allowed
you.
to be this
I
way.
feel
It's
you.
socially acceptable at your age, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. You have permission.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, that would have been a dream job for me as a teenager. Just thinking about that though. Like
We
I've
love our
always worked with
employees. They have
kids.
become like family. We have little stickers above the wash sink that says therapy is cool.
Therapy is
You know,
cool.
stuff like that. We're all
I love
into
that.
like growing and
Yeah, it's true.
How do
working
you,
together.
what kind of support do you like give staff? Like have you had teens or young adults working with you that have been working through things where you've like decided like maybe I will, you know, step in or help
there are
them in some
interesting
way?
boundary issues that
Yeah.
Becky is also helped. I'm an Enneagram 8, so I'm always like wanting to fix
Oh, yes.
something or make something, and Becky's always like, let's step back. You know, Becky never makes the first move as an
Mm-hmm.
Enneagram 5, right?
Well, and as a boss, there has to be certain boundaries with
Right, which has
employees.
been
but,
so
but,
good.
But yes, I wait into.
So
that's just me.
she'll use the term "what is work appropriate here,"
Mm.
and get me really thinking about where is the line. But we have coached people
Yeah.
about how to get themselves to work on time, how to be really the most alert, how to improve their executive functioning.
I need all of that. yeah,
We're-
that's
We're
good.
very much like, we talked about a little bit of this offline, but that, you know, when we hire people, we just assume they're going to have ADHD because it seems to be a requirement
We seem
for
to attract.
walking into our space. But,
Yeah,
but we're sort of able, I think we use ourselves as open books to be transparent
Yeah.
and say this is the stuff that we're working on. Obviously, there's boundaries with that too, but like it gives permission to sort of be like, hey, we don't have to like pretend we're all perfect here because we're
Right.
not. So let's like, you know, I had an employee the other day tell me that when she started working for us 4 years ago, she was brand new and she broke her cup and she said, I thought you were going to fire me. And I just thought that was so hilarious because
That's so
I
sad.
think of how many things I've broken, but it was so sad to me. And then,
Yeah.
and it really made me think like, it sucks because something taught her that, something taught
Yeah,
her.
somewhere
Right.
you know?
along the line in her life, there
So-
was not grace.
Yeah, so I think there's this, I didn't know there would be such an opportunity to just be able to kind of show these kids what the real world is like, but within the safety of our walls. You know, like there's a real world responsibility here, but I'm going to help you walk through some of this stuff. And honestly, even though it's like maybe some more work up front or maybe some more work that is not expected, in the long run, it's better for all of us. Like it really is. And I think we try to really focus on feedback, not criticism, because that just shuts people down. And I don't know, we hash a lot of stuff out together.
Yeah, modeling not being perfect, modeling having self-awareness, right?
You've been the most vulnerable, honestly, with some stuff, and which I won't be the one to share that stuff, but just saying it is huge to kids.
Yeah.
When the adults in their life can say I was wrong and I'm going to try to do better. And we have, you know, without giving too much of their stories away, we have a couple adopted kids, you know, we have a couple of single parent kids, so they're all sort of have their stuff.
Yeah.
And there's also a big thing about like we didn't grow up with texting our friends, like that wasn't a thing.
Oh,
We
yeah.
didn't have that. We had to communicate with each other with words if we wanted to communicate. And there's a lot of just the way some of these kids communicate is so non-confrontational. It's
I know.
really hard to have a
Low key.
face-to-face.
Yes.
And so that like, so many of the issues come to us of, oh, so-and-so is bothering me with this, so-and-so is bothering me with this, and I'm like, what, I gotta coach you that you have to learn how to talk to that
each
person.
other.
You
Yeah.
gotta learn how to talk to them, and you just never know. You never know what the next generation is dealing with this type of stuff. So
We've
because
had-
I'm non-confrontational too, believe me.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't want to talk to them. So you figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've also had staff members who don't know how to pick up the phone.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
that's a big thing that we've had to
it's an
teach
interesting
how to answer the
generational-
phone, how to talk when you don't know what the question's going to be. Yeah.
Wow.
They have no problem calling if they know what the conversation's going to be about, but if that phone rings, it could be anybody.
I get that.
I mean, I get it too.
Every time I get a phone call, I'm like, I wish this was an email. I wish this was an email.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I could have thought about it and
I agree. I'm with you too.
got back to them.
Yeah.
You can't, because you can't
I don't know.
edit your words once they come out of your mouth, and
We're
that's
so
the problem.
used to being able to edit, right?
Yes, and that's why I think it's funny that I do even have a podcast, because I literally hate anything that I can't edit. I mean, you can edit a podcast, but you can't change the words that just came out of your mouth.
You're like,
Yeah.
I wish
Too
I
late.
could re-say that.
But
Yeah.
this is such a part of the human experience that we're missing out
Exactly.
on.
But it's interesting, right? Because now, how do I communicate with my staff? I communicate them through texting and messaging.
Yeah.
And guess what? Like when I was 16 and I needed to call out of my job, I had to call my boss on the phone.
Scary.
It's a lot easier to just say.
That's true. I don't do that.
boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's
You
like.
don't even have to fake a hoarse voice.
Yeah, man.
Oh, remember? I'm sorry. I can't come.
I just threw up.
You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I remember doing that.
No acting required.
I was definitely like that in my like early 20s, and it was definitely undiagnosed ADHD,
Sure.
because I was like couldn't get out of bed. I
Just
was always
couldn't do
tired.
it.
I was always late because I didn't know
Yeah.
that time had passed.
Yeah, man.
Motivation is so
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. And teaching actually, like, I mean, we've actually done this for each other too, was like,
Yeah.
what tools can we put in our own life? Like, if you've got ADHD, that's cool. Maybe you're medicated, maybe you're not. But like, if you set 2 alarms, like you just have to have these tools, right? And so we're trying to pass this on
Yep.
to these kids as
Or
well.
maybe 6
Just like,
alarms. Yeah.
really, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It
Our
really does help. Yeah.
Our Alexa in the kitchen actually goes off at 2 o'clock and says,
Yeah, they hate it.
it
Does it
says time to clean the play space
It
before
does.
the 3 o'clock reservations roll in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like literally Becky's set things up like that. So
Well, they do a very good job. You can tell when a space is clean versus when it's like pretending to be clean. You know, like I know the
cleanliness.
difference.
Yeah.
I used to work at the Children's Museum. I know. I know clean. We used to like sanitize all the toys. We had like
Yeah.
a sanitizer
Wow. Yeah.
and wipe things by hand and stuff.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. It's pretty easy when you have a lot of people
When
doing
you
it.
have
Mad
actually.
respect for the Children's Museum.
Yeah.
That's such a great organization.
Yeah, there's so many. There's one in New Hampshire, the Children's Museum in New Hampshire. Oh my
They
god.
just did a redo.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're really inspired by places like the one
can
in
see that.
Acton that you grew up going to is so good.
So
the
good.
Discovery
Discovery
Museum.
Museum.
I've been wanting to go there for so long.
Go.
Again, the puking, it's such a long car drive.
Yeah, that's a rough. I get it.
Worth it. We found that, and maybe this will help other parents, if we put like a screen on for them. I know we're just talking about screens being bad, but
Yeah. Does
for
it
some
help?
things, helps them focus
Stop
their
it.
eyes. They
yeah.
almost always won't throw up if they have a screen, and if they don't have a screen, 90% of the time they'll puke.
Such a like, and I've been
Yeah.
doing this for 8 years, and obviously all my friends have kids, but you're still learning things every day, like the stuff that like just drive them somewhere. That's not a big
Well,
deal.
and you-
oh yeah, except
Yeah.
for the fact that they might puke.
Yeah.
Everyone, you
He
never
takes
know.
it for
Yeah,
granted.
you do. Easy.
Parents come in with so much unexpected parenting challenges.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so part of what we do is really trying to have empathy for whatever they come to the counter with when they check in. I mean, having to deal with a kid who's car sick,
Yeah.
like you didn't sign up for that.
And they like projectile, and they do it
In
at
the
their
car,
twins, so
yeah.
they do everything together.
Oh,
It's-
no.
it's always-
So they'll grow at the same exact time, or it'll be like boom, boom, like one after the other.
Oh, no.
They, That's crazy. Like, oh, you guys have to do everything, you know? So I always bring an extra change of clothes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
The
sorry.
grandma plastic
so right.
seat covers.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But I just to backtrack, like I so feel that, like, because just when I was at the Children's Piazza, the first thing I thought was like, oh, this place is like, this is for me. Like, this is for the girl. Like, it's definitely for the kids, and all that is well thought
Yeah,
out.
but
But
it's
like,
not.
outer, like I'm
Yeah,
sitting there
it's
drinking a chai latte,
Nice.
and there's like, you know, there's Adirondack chairs for the parents, and like I'm actually talking to other parents, which I
Yeah.
usually can't. With twins, you cannot make friends. Like, it's very hard.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can, but you're like risking your child's life just to ask them, you know, what they do for a
Right,
living.
right. You
Because
turn
one
your
has
head for a
gone that way.
second, yeah.
Yeah, you know, if I could just follow one. But like, it was so nice. And then also the kids made friends, which my girls like don't usually quite take to other kids that way, but they had like a little gang. They had like a
That's
little
super cool.
group.
The
It was
day
that
you were there, there were
swing.
other twins.
Yeah, there were other twins, and there were all these little girls, you know.
Yeah.
They love little girls that are a little older. But you have this, like, what do you call it? It's like a bench swing. Which I remember my grandmother had one, and there's something about it that's just so like.
I told you.
It's like their little buddy. They were like, "Come!" They were like
they
inviting
all
my
sit
daughter.
together.
Come sit on
We've
the bench
been
with
talking
us.
about that swing
Yes.
because it takes up a lot of valuable
Sure.
room.
It's a lot. It's a big
And we're
footprint.
always like looking for more room for stuff. But I'm like, oh my God, I have so many.
We could never get rid
so
of it.
Don't
many
get rid of
visual
it.
memories
Yeah. All right.
of the people who are drawn to that little
Done.
swing. Sorry, I had to point out
No,
that
it's
it's on
great.
as
I'm
recorded.
glad you said something.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't get rid of it. Anyway, but yeah, I want to know a little bit about speaking of like your own mental health journeys and how that all comes together and how does it fit in with the work that you do.
You want to start? Want me to start?
Well, I think that I was a workaholic. So before I got married, I was married to my job, went on a lot of bad coffee dates that I met, guys online who lied about their height,
Oh yes.
how much hair they had, the whole thing. And then I got married within 9 months of meeting my husband, and I was working 3 different jobs. Like I was teaching, I was in 2 different clinics, and then I had a daughter, and my life just came to like this grinding halt, thinking I really want to be home. We had miscarriages, and we went through IVF. It was like a very, I wanted her desperately, and then I didn't really want to be home with her. I was really bored.
Yeah.
And I think I came up with the idea for the Piazza because I told my husband that I had space in my brain.
Yeah, I was going to say, he let your brain,
And he
didn't
said,
know.
I'm never letting you have space in your brain again. Because, there went our savings, and like I was there all the time. But that just became like part of my workaholism, and it was just like avoiding my own stuff of just being busy and being obsessed with something and a cause. And don't get me wrong, it was totally meaningful, and it's been
course.
totally worth it. But when Becky came on board, then I had the accountability of a business partner. And this is like another kind of marriage.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
we rubbed up against each other a lot in the beginning, especially,
Past
and had
tense.
to work,
Still do,
work
but in a
through
good way.
things, but we're a lot healthier about it. And so I was really forced to, she also, we're really close. And so she noticed the way I was parenting when I would get dysregulated with my kids and would really call me out on that. And that's something that I have really taken a lot more seriously because of her observation and her willingness to be honest. For a non-confrontational person, you've been really honest with me.
But I'm also a self-preservationist.
That's true. We know this about each other. So anyway, yeah, so I was really forced. And so one of the biggest things that's happened is that I took a sabbatical from the Piazza a couple summers ago. Like I literally just removed myself for like 4 months. I had like really lost my temper with an employee, and that was sort of the breaking point. It was like, oh my gosh, I cannot allow myself, this is not who I am. This is not who I want to be. I need to deal with my stuff. And I've done EMDR therapy for some complex trauma. I've done somatic work, which has been really helpful. And I think Becky really said to me, like, I know who your true self is. I know who you really are. And I know all these parts that come out when you're stressed and you're trying to protect yourself and you feel threatened. And I really want to see more of your true self. So take whatever time you need. And she really shouldered all of the business responsibilities while I did some of that really intense work. So that's been part of my journey. I think we've seen good fruit from that.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to in terms of just really her real life reaction that I think our employees did not expect was she had this big reaction. Staff were really struggling.
Yeah.
Feeling that things were feeling toxic, things were feeling scary. The expectation was that they would all have to leave. And what they saw was somebody stand up and say, I'm going to take responsibility for this, take responsibility for my mental health. And then they saw her come back healthier and safer.
It's been almost 2 years.
Yeah, and like, that doesn't happen in life, you know.
Well, because of our pride,
Sure.
shame, like just stigma around mental health. I'd rather you think I'm angry than to think,
Right. That's way safer.
right?
Yeah. No, it's true. And
Yeah.
that was a big thing that we just talked about a lot. It was that, like, the anger keeps you safe. The loud keeps you, that's what she said. I get loud because that I feel safer that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like,
That's that little person showing up in a grown-up body.
yeah.
Yes.
Like this
a
strategy
child.
worked for you when you were 5 years old, and it's not healthy, and it's
Yeah.
not effective, and it's not, who I wanted to be, but it was coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We all have something.
Just wanting to be heard.
Yeah. And it's funny because that the yin and yang thing applies to so many parts of our relationship, because we typically say that, like, with Charae's stuff, she goes out, and with my stuff, I go in.
I'm an externalizer. She's an internalizer.
So the mental health stuff I was dealing with was paralyzing me. So I spent years, maybe, like, on the couch as my full-time job. And for me, it was my self-esteem mostly that was taking that hit, because I felt like I wasn't capable of doing anything. I didn't feel like a helpful member of society or any of my relationships. And the Charae's, that, whatever that word is, of
Pulling you.
pulling me, poking me,
Yeah.
was saying, like, I really think that this is not what,
Yeah.
this is not what is meant for you. And she really would honestly make me do things.
Yeah.
And she would say, get up, we're going, come over, we're doing this.
And 8 years ago, I
Wow.
think your identity was being a depressed
It
person.
was. I had been depressed for more years than not, and it had affected
Oh, yeah.
more of my life really than anything else. Like it because I think a lot of us do find identities in our job and what we're looking to do, and I had to walk away from a lot of those things. So I just thought, well, I can't work apparently, and so I really just thought I had no idea, and so I was spending a lot of that time getting my mental health back on track. That's when I had the conversation with the husband. Like, I do feel like I'm ready for something big here. But he was also nervous too. He was scared. He's like, I don't think you can do a full-time job. I don't think you're meant to. And he wasn't. He was doing it because he cared about me, not because he didn't believe in me.
That makes sense.
It was more like you got to give yourself some grace and the ability to step back if you need to. So it felt like a really tricky spot.
Yeah.
And all I saw in Becky was talent and smarts, right? And so you're a woman in construction. You can build things. You can design things. You're brilliant at money. You're great at investing money. And she has since gotten her MBA.
Oh, wow.
But anyway,
It's been 8 years of her transforming this LLC into a nonprofit. She's been nailing it on grant applications.
But conversely, I see Charae as like this freaking nurse practitioner
Yeah.
who was a professor for 10 years. Like, she's a bit of a medical savant, which she doesn't like me saying, but she is. And to me, that was
Yeah.
what you strive for. Like, this, she went to school, she got her, and she's just been working. Like, it's so wild to me that I'm like, I just think it's crazy that people can work.
And
not
I
get
put
depressed.
my mental health issues
Yeah,
aside.
I hear-
and
yeah.
hammered through them. And
Yeah.
she was
And
like,
mine
my
took
whole
me
job
over.
is being mentally healthy.
Right, but then we were sort of both able to do this thing together while also going on these mental health journeys together.
Yeah.
And so the nice thing about the Piazza, to be honest, even though, I'm working way more than 40 hours a week, I can also say, but today I need an hour to
Walk in the
to
woods.
take a walk in the woods, or
Yeah.
I'm hitting all my mental health requirements, which are a little bit ridiculous, but they're what gets me through the day, and I'm still able to be productive and
Yeah.
make
And
this
in
thing
these 8
happen.
years, you've tried some things too, like neurofeedback and
Done a lot of wacky things that have actually
that
been
have
very
been helpful.
So
It's been a good 8 years.
so
I think we have
Wow.
such mutual admiration for each
I-
other just for
I
how much
can
we've
see that.
grown in the
Yeah.
last 8 years. our organization has grown, and I think we've grown as people because we've really challenged each other. And it's a rare and beautiful thing to have someone be that committed to you, that they can see you're
Absolutely.
ugly and
Yeah.
like really stick with you and say, I know I can see the good in you, and I want to keep seeing more of that.
Yeah, so it really is like a marriage.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear, like you said, you were struggling with like self-esteem, but then
Yeah.
to hear Charae talk about you, it's like she has you like way up here, and then same thing. So no matter how low you feel, you've got this person who just thinks you're incredible, and
Which
that's
I think
so nice.
is
Yeah.
we have the worst views probably of many of us human beings. If we would ask people how they saw us, we'd be shocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, the way we see
The
ourselves.
way we see
Yeah.
ourselves sometimes.
And
so.
everyone should have a friend like that.
Yeah, that's so nice.
We need each other.
That's so lovely. We have to I don't know how many people are into the Enneagram, but I think that's interesting that do you use that at work too, like with employees? Is that something that you're?
I mean, I
you-
just let Charae tell me what it is and what I am.
I've gotten
You
more
don't know
into
yet.
it,
I'm not
but
really the greatest at it, but it actually has been. It's been really helpful in our relationship, mostly because I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no.
In how different personalities interact.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Are you up on it? Familiar with it?
I'm not, but I'm pretty sure I'm a 1 because I see
Sure.
little memes and stuff sometimes.
And you're like, that makes sense.
I think I'm a 1, but then I'm like, I don't want to be a 1.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's
that's-
not so much, I mean, it's not who you are, but
Yeah.
it tells a lot about what your motivations are, what your go-to strategies are. And it just, when we stopped wanting to change each other and started embracing, like, this is who you are, this makes sense. But also, there's 9 numbers in the Enneagram, and we need every number.
Exactly. So there's no wrong one. There's no wrong number.
And
It's
so
like,
it's like, oh, wow, that's just your 8 doing
Yeah.
your 8 thing. And maybe your 8's a little unhealthy. Could you,
yeah,
because that's part of the Enneagram too, is just knowing
Yeah.
like, what is your core fear? What is the thing that you are working towards? And so part of being a 5, I think Becky's being that inward, and she researches things and like learns about everything before. And it's almost like terrifying or crippling to make a decision.
I get analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
And so again, like, and the 8 is just like, let's just
Do
do
it. She's like, I already started.
I love
I
that.
dug a hole in the ground. What do we do?
But just like a lot of, these kinds of working relationships, like, we've actually had therapy.
Yeah, we did. We did some.
We did therapy.
Like
We
couples
did-
therapy?
Yeah, basically.
We've done Enneagram coaching.
Okay.
So, and the Art of Growth, we worked with them a couple of times to just say, wow, look at your strengths. Look at the way you complement one another. And that gave us some language to not be discouraged with clashing or being in conflict.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think because you're trying to kind of pin a number on me for so long, and then you'd be like, I don't know, but I think it's this, I think it's this. And then when you hit 5, our conversation actually got a lot easier because you'd get worked up and you'd go, I just know this is what's happening right now. Like, but that was like
Yeah.
super helpful. And I
It
also,
just made more sense.
yeah, just to,
And then I started
What's going on.
admiring 5s. I'm like, oh, I need to be more like that.
Yeah.
I need to research things a little more. I need to slow down. I need to rely on my own inner resources and preserve my inner resources more, because I think 5s are really good at that.
and I learned that I feel safe with 8s because they are loud and they do get the job done. So I started looking at the other people in my life going, oh,
She has a lot of 8s in her
I
life.
do.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're scary, but they make me feel safe.
I'm that with I have a lot of Capricorns. in
Yeah,
my
yeah, I
life.
bet
the
I
most
mean,
important
I'm
people.
Sure, yeah.
So
Yeah, you
there's
just know you need them.
you know who you need. That's so fun. And then you always know when it's like someone that you're gonna class. You're like, when were you?
Yeah, just curious when
What
your
number
birthday
are
is.
you?
Just
Or-
wondering.
Yeah. I knew it. Or like, when were you born?
right,
Yeah.
right.
You're Pisces. Like something.
That makes sense. It all makes sense now.
My dad's a Pisces, and I love him, but there's definitely like a we don't understand each other quite thing there. Like it's like, okay, Pisces, Virgo.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a beauty
Yeah.
to just saying we don't understand each other.
Yeah, like
you
it's
know what I
cool
mean?
to just be like, we don't, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this partnership. Yeah, I'm also just curious about, your mission with the Children's Piazza, and it feels like there's been a little bit of a journey, and you've gone from being a for-profit to a nonprofit. So, like, what has that been, and why? Why be a nonprofit?
Can I give the short answer?
Yeah.
Whatever size
No,
answer.
Actually, I can give both answers. I mean, Charae she started it as a missional organization from the beginning. It
Yeah.
was supposed to be purposeful, but basically it was quicker to start an LLC.
Yeah, I literally,
Yeah.
when I was researching how to start a business, it was like, do I do an LLC? Do I do an S Corp? Do I do a nonprofit? And so I was just told nonprofits take years and you'll spend your life fundraising. Don't do that.
Yeah, and they were right.
I was going to say yeah.
But the reason we made the switch, we did it during COVID, but we realized it's an expensive business. We have huge, high overhead. There's
Oh, yeah.
no way to do it and make a lot of money unless you're in, Silicon Valley or New York City and you're charging people $50 per admission. And
Which we never wanted to
And
do.
we
We
never-
never wanted to gouge people.
right, and so you can't. It just didn't work anymore to operate missionally. But then, like, I was like, only rich people are going to be able to come to us if we go up on our prices. But we things just got so expensive, and
Yeah.
that was one of the big things was, okay, if we can become a nonprofit, if we can get some funding and get some help with this, we can keep going with the mission side of it.
Yeah.
Which is a huge learning curve because you're just still running a business, but now you're running all the compliance stuff and all the fundraising, and it's a
So
lot.
now we have to be very transparent and accountable, which is great. And I think Becky's pretty meticulous about doing things very much by the book as a nonprofit organization. But COVID, the pandemic, we were shut down for 3 months.
Oh, I bet.
Zero income. And so we were watching restaurants and other businesses pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot was a big word during the pandemic. Every business was doing
yeah.
their pivot.
trying to
And
get
we were
creative.
like, what?
Yep.
We are a brick and mortar, 100% brick and mortar. I mean, you did some online like music classes for
Yeah,
kids,
which was
which yielded, I mean, not for money, but just like to stay in contact with our community. But our big pivot was like, we are forced now. If ever we wanted to do this, now is the time to do it. And so
Yeah.
we went through, did all the paperwork. Becky did all the legal stuff and headed that up. And then we sort of had the nonprofit kind of as a very small arm that we were operating for, a year and a half?
Yeah.
And then at the end of fiscal year, was it 2023?
January 2023 was our first year officially with everything under the nonprofit financially.
So we
and everything.
dissolved the LLC. We donated all the assets of the LLC as partners, and took a while to like get rid of all our bank accounts, pay off our debts. Like we had to
Yeah.
really close things up, and then 100% nonprofit. So now we're technically Community Play Workshop Inc. Still running under the DBA, the Children's Piazza. So we kept our brand, and we have a board of directors who also holds us accountable and is part of our community and our leadership.
Yep. So I think it was the right move. For me, it was that or nothing, to be honest, because I really didn't have any, I just didn't have any interest of just running a play space. You know what I mean?
Just
And
hang
I'm
out
not-
with rich people all
Well,
day.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying there isn't a place for that, because there
Yeah.
obviously is, because there are play spaces everywhere
Of
now,
course.
and they're surviving, and people are going to them, and
Yeah.
they're fulfilling a need, which is amazing. But for me,
Yeah.
I think part of it, also not being a parent, I need that other aspect of it to really keep me motivated. So. I like the direction we headed. We had actually, our pivot was going to be, we were going to go Children's Museum.
Yeah, I could see it's because there's a line there.
And we're actually, it's kind of more of our model a little bit, is we try to be a little more educational, early childhood development, a little bit more of that.
Sure.
We have a ton more enrichment
more STEM
program.
and enrichment stuff. But
Yeah.
that was, of course, the exact same time that Peabody introduced their
I was
Children's
going to
Museum.
say that reminded me of a play space when I was there. It's
So,
like, oh.
so it's like we just
Yeah.
don't use that term, but it's a little bit more of our model now in terms of the and development stuff, but with the added sort of parental support component.
Yeah. No, I feel like if it was a museum, it wouldn't feel like a hang. Like it feels
Thank
like
you,
a hang.
It
because
needs to
that's
feel
the
like
big
a
thing.
hang.
I want you to come
Yes.
3 days a week if you want, not
Yeah.
like once a year.
We want that
You know?
accessibility. And the greatest...
Got it.
She
I
gets
get
it.
it.
She totally gets it. We insist that the coffee and the chai go into the play space. And I don't know if you've noticed at a children's museum, you can't. Like, you have to drink it over here.
Oh, I've noticed. Yes.
And that is the most frustrating thing to me
Yep.
as a parent. Like, So, yes, we're still a hang. And all these other wonderful things have happened where we have this niche with, like, kids in foster care. We raise money to give free visits.
Wow.
The young moms through Beverly Hospital have a lot of hangs, and they're there with their mentors. And we have these library passes now, so we're in how many? 10 libraries, so you can get 50% off admission. So the accessibility piece, and we're donating punch passes not only to fundraisers, but people who write to us and say, can't afford to come, but it's a really important place to me, and we make it happen, and we can do that because we're a nonprofit. So
Yeah, that's true. That stuff, it just wouldn't be possible. And that's the worst thing as a small business. You're constantly being asked to help. You're constantly
course.
being
And you
asked
want
for
to.
money. And but it's just hard but you have to be, you're on a shoestring budget.
Oh, I understand that
But like, who
totally.
are you going to go to in the community? You're going to the small businesses to ask for sponsorships, ask for this stuff. And now we can actually, someone can say, our admission fee is still pretty reasonable, but there are also ways that you can get a discount, and there's plenty of ways you can get a discount. And it's nice because we actually have people who choose to pay full price because they know that'll help somebody who can't. And that's sort of that revolving thing that we're trying to do here. You know what I mean? All support each other.
Has there been a moment where that was really rewarding to you?
so many moments.
Too many to.
Do you have a specific one?
I remember a dad tell me that he was divorcing, and he was like an hour away from his kids, and his visitation happened once a week at the Children's Piazza because it was halfway. And he said, I get to spend an extra half hour with my kids because we're meeting here instead of me driving all the way. And this is the most important, time of my week. We've had adoptive parents say this is the only place that's safe for us, that we feel, to have kinship visits. So to have biological families come, because it's a neutral ground. It's not inviting them into their home, which can sometimes feel awkward or unsafe. And my own son is adopted, and he met his birth mother and half-brother in the Piazza.
Oh, wow.
And that was a safe place for him to sort of take his half-brother by the hand and walk him around and show him the play space. So, yeah, I think it has become a place for a lot of people where they have a lot of memories. And just today, I was talking to another small business owner, and I was late giving something to her, and she was like, you get a pass. You guys were so meaningful to my family. And it's just stuff you don't know about. Sends me a picture of her son as a toddler in the space, and she's like, you guys saved my life. We hear that all the time, and it's like, it's so good to know that we're fulfilling our mission. And when someone replies back with mission accomplished.
That's so nice.
I know, that was really
that was
convenient
well
that
put.
happened this morning.
Yeah.
You have that story.
Yeah.
You just had it ready to go.
Becky, is there a moment for you?
I think a couple things. There's a weird thing that happens that when I am discouraged and ready to throw in the towel,
And there have
Yes.
been many moments.
many times, that seriously, almost every time somebody will come up to me and say how meaningful their time was. And I will always text Charae and be like, it happened again.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's like the old building and loan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think for me is sometimes I feel like, so one of the reasons I was looking forward to being able to sort of go with the Children's Museum route is because everyone knows what that is.
Yes.
Everyone gets
true.
it. You don't have to defend it. They get it.
Yeah.
The people who get us are the people who have experienced it and who have been in it. And to be honest, it's mostly the moms. The moms get it. But when you have someone who really shouldn't get it and they get it,
That's cool.
it's really cool. So, you know what I mean? Because I make a joke that, like, the worst thing about raising money is you're asking old white guys for money, and they're the last person that's going to understand why this thing's important. And we had we had a guy who was on the board of one of the grants we got for Speedway Charities. And he almost wanted me to stop talking about the place because he's like, I get it.
I get it.
Okay,
I like
get
it.
it. And I was just like, and I said to his face, literally, I'm like, I'm sorry, but you have no idea how refreshing it is for me to have a man in his, and I shouldn't say white guy, but it is always the white guys.
Just is. That's okay. That's just the demographic.
Sorry. Like a 60-year-old white guy come in here and I don't have to defend this place.
Yeah.
And that you get it. And that to me is like, okay. I want a place that's self-evident.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that feels pretty beautiful. So
You don't really have to sell it.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, right, because it's something that you guys have really figured out that you have, but we're not seeing it everywhere. Like this exact formula isn't in every town like it should be. And I feel like
Probably because it's like really hard.
that's a good thing, but that's part of why it's hard to make people understand it, right? It is really hard to do. Yeah.
I'm being silly. But.
And we started in 2014, so it's 12 years now, and we've seen
Yeah.
lots of places pop up and shut down over the years.
It's a labor of love. Like that's the thing, right?
Exactly.
We really started because of this place called Mall Tots that my husband brought my daughter to in the Liberty Tree Mall, and it was so gross. But so I wanted to create something like that that was just, more appealing. And I think it's great that there are so many popping up because I want it to be more the norm that parents have all these options of where to take their kids.
Yes, absolutely.
And you've had Whitney Cardosi on the show.
Yes.
She calls us the OG on the North Shore.
Yes, absolutely.
And, we're proud of the fact that we've survived this long. But it's really so important in society, I think. And Europe and Asia figured this out a long time ago, that kids need places like this. When people come from England, they're like, oh, these places are...
I was just going to say that, in other cultures, it's like normal to have places that are fun for adults and kids to hang.
And the restaurant and play is a big thing, like a full-on restaurant.
Heck
But it just should be easier to have little kids because mental health for parents of little ones are so challenged. You're sleep deprived. It's messy. You lose your identity.
Absolutely.
It's just so incredibly hard. And at this very same time, these little people need you to be so stable.
Yep.
And so how do you do that in isolation? How do you do that if you feel like the world isn't set up for you?
I don't know.
And so it's totally worth what we believe in what we're doing.
Absolutely.
You know what? And something that was really rewarding was when the pandemic was winding down, we had all these COVID babies
Who had never been in
had
crowds
never
before.
been in groups of people before. So suddenly we were becoming a place where people were introducing their children to
They were
strangers.
socializing them like puppies.
And you're just like, okay, you never know what's going to happen.
That's so funny.
Sure, we're here for it.
Yeah, it's been the weirdest run.
It's honestly incredible that you came back from COVID at all. Like, how?
Well,
so in
shout
person.
Shout out to our husbands, let's be honest, because they both have supported us. And like that, we
100%.
we were able to take, you were still working as nurse practitioner through COVID, but literally when we were shut down, we took advantage, we just did remodeling projects the whole time. And
Smart.
so but to have your partner in life support that,
And
That's
we both
huge.
married engineers.
Oh, I've been married to an engineer too.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they
that's
are
funny.
kind of similar guys in some way.
Yeah.
But my husband in particular, he's a software engineer, and he just said, my job's not super meaningful.
Wow.
And this is meaningful. And so he was willing to make this financial sacrifice to invest in it for me not to be on the payroll for a really long time. I think his greatest joy was going to a public playground with a Piazza hat or T-shirt on
Aw.
and someone saying, "Oh my gosh, the Piazza," and it would make him feel so good, like we're doing this missional thing.
Yeah.
Mine was just happy I was off the couch, I think.
But anyway, yes, they've been incredibly financially supportive of it.
I love that. It's funny, I'll wrap up soon, but when I was bored and on maternity leave, I didn't know places like that existed around here. I was reading a lot about like in Europe, and like there's places where you can just like take your babies that are adult spaces, but they're also friendly. And I was like fantasizing about starting this cafe, but it had all these like rounded tables and like
sweet.
places for kids to play, but it was kind of like a Starbucks, like
Yeah.
geared towards the adults. I was, same. My husband was like, sure, let's do it. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's so
like,
cool.
it was just a thing that I was talking about at the time, but he's the same way. But I fantasized about this place. And then when I went to the Children's Piazza, I was like, oh, this is kind of it. Like, this is similar. This is,
And it's cool
Yeah.
that a lot of us have that desire,
Wow.
and I think that's how we know we're hitting it. 'cause
yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And there's so many different ways,
Now I'm
like,
do we
you
need
could
to
do
get
it.
curved? That's a good
Curved.
idea.
We
I
should get
like
some
that
curved
idea. So you can
tables.
actually be in the cafe
Like-
I get you.
You
Oh,
know,
that's a
like
great
they
idea.
can, like if they run into
Yeah,
the
I know what
table,
you're
it's
saying.
fine.
Yeah.
It's a stupid table, corners of
Corners,
tables.
I know.
Pointy
You know how
corners.
much of my mind is devoted to corners? Because
Corners?
kids are all different heights, so there's no good height. You can't put a corner anywhere.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway.
right,
on.
that too.
I'm really glad you brought that up.
Oh, just like everything like a padded room, but it's a
Yeah,
cafe.
exactly.
But yeah, I was like blown away. I'm like, this is like exactly like what I've been looking for. And
That's sweet.
why didn't I get out there earlier? It is really hard for
Well,
me.
the puking.
When
and
it's
I
just
think we
me,
need
but
to do
yeah.
a better job
The
of going
puking
after
and
moms
the-
of newborns too, and like getting them into the space so that
Yeah.
they know it's there
hard,
when they're
though.
ready.
It's
but-
hard. You need a reason to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like you said, there should be places like this everywhere because I had room to bloom a 4-minute walk from my house.
There you go.
So
and
which-
that was our OG location.
Exactly,
That was
yes. And it is nice, but it did keep me from like pushing myself to venture out a little bit more because I'm like
That's right here.
tired. There's 2 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could walk there. which is great.
Exactly.
So I guess every corner.
But yeah.
Got to do it.
But yes, if you're listening or watching and you have kids, little kids, check out Children's Piazza. What ages would you say, actually?
Birth through
Birth.
kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think our
littles.
wheelhouse is 2 to 3. Like we really
Yeah.
try to
Yeah,
for
0
the
to
littles,
3.
but yeah, through kindergarten.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of places for 0 to 3, and that was
No.
the other part of it.
Yeah, that's huge. I know there's like nothing you can do with them.
Yeah.
And just like to be able to chill while they're being crazy and not
Yeah.
have to have that, that weird embarrassed thing when you take your toddlers out and you're like, oh, great, I can't relax because I'm worried that everyone thinks they're being too loud
Naughty
or
and loud. Yeah.
maybe I should leave. I don't know.
We really like to be a safe space for
Yeah.
like the meltdowns are just expected.
Meltdowns, yeah.
There are certain times of day where they happen more. There are kids
Yep.
with neurodiversity who come in, and that's another rewarding thing that's happened. Like parents have told us, this is the only place I can bring my autistic child.
Yeah.
And there are certain times of the day where, like early afternoon, it's so chill. But yeah, I'm glad that we can fill that niche.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about? I feel like we could always talk more, but we covered
you were very
some good
kind to have us
ground.
on the
You were.
show.
Thank you for having us.
Oh,
Thank you for visiting.
Of course.
Yes.
Of
We look forward to
course.
seeing
I
you guys
will be
again.
back. Well, I bought it was like
She
a
got a punch
10
pass.
10 pass. Yeah, I did
nice.
immediately.
Just show up and give your last name, and you're like, you're in.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And my mom watches them twice a
We
week.
love grandparents.
Yeah.
Grandparents are like huge supporters.
She will love it because she takes them by herself to the Livingston playground
Oh,
in
yeah.
Beverly. And she's in her 70s and she like
Oh my
one's
gosh.
going that way.
Oh
and
my
she'll like run
God.
after them and she does
a
all
lot.
of that. And I'd love to just see her sit in an Adirondack chair with like a chai latte.
Excellent.
And
She's still a badass, but yeah.
yeah.
And it's air conditioned in the summer.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much.
you,
Thank you.
Amanda.
Thanks for inviting us.
And I'll let you get home. And I know I'm probably going to snuggle on up and get right to bed.
Excellent. Sounds good to me.
Saturday night.
Let's do it.
Saturday night is all about partying. By partying, I mean going to bed as early
Going to
as
bed early.
possible. So
Yep.
have a great night. Yes.
Thank you. You too.
And I'll see you because I'll be back.
We
at
will
the
see you
Piazza.
at least 10 times.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Thank you all for listening or watching. I brought you into this world. I'll see you next time.